65,000 tickets around in there have been sold for this event, which is pretty much a packed sellout for Lucas Oil Stadium. That's about the max capacity.
Most people I was about to say, how many people could fit in Lucas Oil?
Well, you add the floor to it, it's probably around 70-some thousand or something, I think, because I think 65 is about around a Colts game. I'm not positive on that, but yeah, it's going to be a packed building, no doubt about it.
Hey, you might run into Mr. McAfee there.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? I mean, I know a bunch of people we work with and friends are going. It's a big deal around these parts. Indianapolis don't get these type of shows very often. So this is a big deal. It's about like when the Super Bowl came through here, and this is WWE's second biggest show of the year. So we're going to be getting some big time news and stuff coming out of this. Hopefully it'll be a good thing top to bottom. The number one match, I'm assuming will probably kick off the show, will be the 2 out of 3 Falls WWE Tag Team Championship match between DIY and Motor City Machine Guns. I've not been real thrilled with what WWE's been doing with their tag divisions as of late. However, SmackDown seems to be putting a little more effort in with their tag division outside of Raw, and adding this match kind of gives it some extra stakes. So I'm actually looking forward to this. Both these two teams could actually, be a bit of a show stealer when it comes to in-ring action.
First of all 4 of these guys are not spring chickens, but they all 4 can go in the ring. Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin are amazing, and we all know the story of DIY and what they can do. We watched them from NXT and what they've done on the main roster with some tag teams. This match should be actually pretty good. Could be really good.
Now, if I'm going to make a prediction here, I don't see DIY dropping the titles, but then again, Motor City Machine Guns did kind of come into WWE and win the belts right away.
There's kind of a thing going on that played out on SmackDown right before I got on the air that actually involved this. So I'm not going to say nothing. But could DIY retain? Yeah, but it'll be weird.
Okay, well, I'll have to check the SmackDown out sometime between now and the time I leave in the morning real quick. I have to skim through it real fast just to see if I missed anything. This definitely got a chance to be a show stealer. Anybody else got any thoughts on this one? No? All right, we'll just move on.
Well, I was hoping Johnny was going to get a win because, he's from Ohio and all that.
Yeah, but he's a bad guy right now.
Well,
which is interesting to see. I don't know if I've ever seen Gargano as a bad guy. Maybe he did.
It's going to be hard for me to picture that because he was young when we met him.
Yeah, super cool guy.
Yeah.
I really liked how he did do the job to Apollo Crews last week on SmackDown because Apollo Crews is a guy who definitely needed the win at this point. But again, it's not going to hurt Johnny Gargano. He is one half the tag champions, and he's just well established enough to where he can get that.
Johnny's very good in the ring. Like we watched them wrestle guys that were out of their prime, and Johnny's still again, we watched him wrestle Jerry Lynn, which was an awesome match, by the way. Awesome match. And then I've watched him wrestle Jake the Snake one time. It is what it is.
Wait a minute. You know what's really it just hit me? That was 17 years ago almost.
Yeah.
These guys are getting old.
Yeah. And they all look young to me still, all these guys.
Yeah.
I want to say Sabin.
You know what?
I'm sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
They do look a lot better than a lot of the guys did at their age back in the day. They were drinking and smoking and snorting and
that's true.
And these guys, you know what they do for fun? Video games.
Yeah.
That's what they spend their
nerds.
A lot of them go to these toy conventions and collect these rare toys and video games. That's what they spend their time doing now instead of partying.
What's wrong with that?
No, that's the thing. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just they substituted all the drinking and all that shit for that.
Which is good. Because I remember Undertaker talking about how it's interesting to go into the WWE locker room nowadays. He said, everybody back in the day was using steroids and stuff, and now kids are playing video games in the locker room. So
he did say, he's like, it's not that it's bad. It's different from the way the business was run different. Everybody different mindsets back then. And he goes, but you go in there now and nobody's stressed out. Nobody's yelling. There isn't any, you know what I mean?
We've evolved as a species to some respects in WWE, but for sure. But I'm sure for a guy like Taker who was, grew up around that stuff, it's a little different. I get that.
But when there's competitiveness to be had in the ring, you see it.
Yeah.
Taker's probably like, these damn kids.
Get off my lawn. Rest in peace. Yeah.
Well, I told you the one time that Booker T was backstage at catering and Javon Evans came up to him and was talking to him while eating a bowl of cereal, and he goes, "This guy's eating a bowl of cereal. I even sniff milk, and I."
That's messed up. Mike had a couple comments in the chat. He said Johnny Gargano was the leader of the Way in NXT. He was a heel there. You're right. Yeah. You're right about that. Yeah, I figured I probably maybe had seen him as a heel at some point. I just couldn't remember. But yeah, the Way was actually very entertaining.
Very,
in NXT. So hopefully, I'd like to see them maybe do that more. But Indy Hartwell's no longer a part of the company.
Tommaso is a great heel too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And Tommaso, I buy him more of a heel than I do Johnny Gargano. But don't get me wrong, Johnny Gargano can definitely still pull it off, no doubt about it. But definitely unselfish of him to be able to do that for Apollo Crews last week for sure. And he also went on to mention that Scott Hall and Kevin Nash both in the Hall of Fame twice as individuals and with the NWO.
That's what I thought.
Same with Hulk Hogan. I know he probably didn't want to mention Hogan, but at the same time, it is fair enough to mention it for sure.
But anyway, this match should be good. Period.
Oh, no doubt about it. DIY, do you think though, for as a winner?
I think so. Yes.
Yeah. Next up, how about the 30-woman Royal Rumble match?
Listen,
I didn't pull up a list of every participant here, but they've definitely been.
Don't matter because there's only one person on this whole photo that anybody should be paying attention to because that's who's winning the fucking Rumble. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's right there.
Are you sure? See, I've heard
positive.
I don't want to get into spoiler territory because I want to ruin it for anybody. I don't even know if there's spoilers or not. Obviously, the heavy rumors are Becky Lynch will return, probably the last pick, and that would be a clear favorite to be the winner, obviously. There's been some talk of Alexa Bliss. I know we discussed this, but she's got some contract issues right now.
But
or that could just be
BS.
Yeah, it could be BS, could be throwing you off the scent. We're going to get into some more topics here in a little bit, a bunch of BS. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But also, there's another rumor going around that potentially we could be getting – I know CM Punk said something, I think, recently this week talking about there's a big surprise in the Royal Rumble. So a lot of people are saying maybe AJ Lee makes a return here. I don't know if that's true. Like I said, this is all speculation.
But here's my thing with the AJ Lee thing. And I know she's been on that show Heels, and I know she's been doing some things as far as wrestling goes, but not in the capacity of wrestling still. If you're going to get AJ Lee, it has to be more than a one-off situation. Like,
oh, yeah.
It's
unless she's just going to show up for the Rumble and be done, but not win. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I get that. But it's like, that's like, you know what I'm saying? Getting your birthday cake, and then right as you get it, it falls on the fucking floor. You know what I mean?
And you get fans excited, and all of a sudden, oh, that's it. Yeah. Have fun. Bye. You know? Yeah, so I don't know if fans would like that too. You're probably not wrong. I mean, I could let it slide a little more in that case.
I mean, I'd be fine with it. It's like, oh, cool, AJ Lee's there. But
yeah, one off
like
maybe.
When
but
Michelle McCool showed up, it was dope to see her.
And there's going to be quite a few women who are probably now the women's roster at WWE now is much larger than it has been in years past. So maybe they ain't got to rely on as many legends and things coming out of retirement just to come and fill the 30 women slots here. But at the same time, you know, I'm sure we'll still get a few surprises from TNA, things like that with their partnership as well in the men's and women's Royal Rumble. But yeah, so
Jordynne Grace is going to be there.
Probably. I wouldn't be. I don't know if I think Mickie James is still in TNA. I wouldn't be surprised. She's done that in the past too. But there's probably other women over there in TNA they could use as well that I'm not quite aware of. But when it comes to the winner, though, yeah, I mean Charlotte's going to be probably in the final four.
Me and Miranda saw a video package of Charlotte.
Yeah, which I'll tell you right now. Last week when they announced that, and part of me was a little upset about that. I even mentioned it on my WWE review because as a person who's going to the show, I'd have been much happier if it was a surprise. But we all kind of figured she's going anyway. I get it, but it would have been kind of cool to be sitting there and be like, "Oh, there's Charlotte Flair, awesome." But that probably also tells me they've got other surprises in store, though. So
now, but here's the thing. I don't think you would have known it was Charlotte because I'm telling you right now, that whole video vignette that we've seen, she don't look like she does in that picture at all.
Well,
I just Googled like
dead ass. Like it's like
she had work done.
Oh, has had a bunch over the years.
Well, no, I'm talking like
dude.
There's no way. It don't look like her.
It was weird.
Yeah, well. And the thing is, you go back and look at her like the beginning of her NXT career. She looks like a completely different person, which is
maybe it was an AI video.
Maybe.
I mean, who knows with AI technology nowadays? They use them for movie trailers and everything these days. But
it was weird looking. I'm just saying. But that's who's winning the Rumble, female Rumble anyway.
Yeah. So who do you think will be the final four? If you had to pick I know it's kind of on spot, but
probably Becky,
Charlotte, Becky,
Charlotte for sure.
Liv. I could see her being in there.
Maybe
Bianca Belair.
I don't think so. I think they'll be out when Jade comes back.
That's very possible. That's very true.
Because they're going to tell that whole story. All this is going to. You may get Jade in there.
Oh, I'm sure she'll. Well, I don't know about Final Four, but she'll definitely be in the match for sure.
As a stare off between those ones, yeah, that's dream matches. And
if they bring AJ Lee back, would
she could potentially be in the
Final Four, but she should be the first one eliminated from that Final Four.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Unless she's winning the whole thing, which I think that'd be weird to strap the rocket to her like that.
Mm-hmm.
Just coming. So I don't think that AJ Lee would win the thing. But yeah,
I think three. Either Naomi or Bianca switches out, but you would probably have Charlotte, Becky, Liv, either Naomi, Bianca, or Jade.
She's out there still, isn't she?
I think. Or yeah, because there's no.
I'm kind of with Mike on this one. I hope Charlotte does not win it.
Which,
Mike.
So do I, Mike.
Yeah. I mean, don't be wrong. Charlotte is very overexposed. Not to mention she's like what? 10-time women's champion or something to that effect?
No, sir.
It's probably higher.
16.
Well, she's already at 15?
Yeah.
Holy crap.
That's what that vignette said.
Really? Well, I forgot. But anyway, yeah,
that's worse than Kansas City and freaking New England.
and her father, Rick, yeah. So, but no, she's going to get 16 at some point, for sure, to tie her dad at least.
Charlotte Flair.
Yeah.
Her new gimmick is supposed to be this Barbie Flair, essentially.
Interesting.
I wonder if she had a lawsuit against Vince. Vince didn't. She had to have had something. Like, how the hell does she get that many wins?
Because she's a Flair.
Because she's Ric Flair's daughter.
Yeah, and it's Vince booking. Let's put the Flair up there.
What did he do to get her that many wins?
That's good booking, damn it. Anyway.
Ric Flair, I mean, he threw around his name.
Brandon.
What?
Would you rather watch Kansas City win the Super Bowl or Charlotte Flair win the Royal Rumble?
Neither. We're going to talk about the Super Bowl later. But
would you rather? Did you say
would you rather? Both options suck. But anyway,
go ahead, Brandon. Answer it. You like these would you rather freaking questions?
Fair enough.
This one.
Can I win money on either one?
Here's the thing, because I don't trust the script in either one of them. But at least I know with the WWE script, I can easily follow that one. So
yeah.
I would take the Charlotte over the Chiefs.
Yeah. Well, and I'll say this too. As much as Charlotte's won multiple world titles and all this stuff, it has been overexposed a lot. She has been off for a long time. So it'll at least be good to see her. I just don't need to see her anywhere near any women's championships.
Oh, Tiffany Stratton is about to lose that belt.
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
That's going to be a WrestleMania match right there.
You think so? Well,
Stratton versus Charlotte Flair.
Well, that is one thing I'm interested to see what they do on the show, if they do anything at all here on the Royal Rumble, is the world champions. Obviously, Cody Rhodes is not in anything. Gunther won't be on the show based on the booking or on the matches. Neither will Tiffany Stratton or Rhea Ripley, which you would think they would want to put those people on the show in some capacity. So I don't know how they're going to do that, if they're going to do it at all. But
think about it this way too. This is everybody. The mobile matches are basically you're weeding out the person who's supposed to be taking on your top person. The top person shouldn't have to do this in this show at all because you're chasing after my belt. All I gotta do is stand here, look pretty, and hold this damn thing. You come to me. Like, that's what this is. The road to WrestleMania is that you're the knight trying to slay the fucking dragon, and this is your journey. It has nothing to do with the dragon until you get to the dragon.
Yeah, I agree with that. Mike had a couple more comments. He said, would like to see a new face win it. I totally agree with that.
Sure.
There's some people online were saying Io Sky, even though she's not really
she's earned it,
face, but yeah, she's earned it. I agree with that. So somebody like that would be great to see, no doubt about it. And he said if Charlotte does indeed win it, she needs to put over Tiffany Stratton at Mania, which I agree with. I agree with that. But if she wins, I think that's what needs to happen. She needs to put the young one over.
That's not happening. She'll put her over by having a great match with her, but she ain't leaving there with that fucking title.
Well, and that's a lot of the criticism I have with Mercedes Moné right now,
Ooh,
which is
figure it out.
I know.
Figure it out.
And a lot of that, I think, is because she's booking herself to some degree, which sucks.
Well,
Mike
how
also.
much do you guys hold on? How much do you guys want to bet that her chest is bigger after this hiatus she's had?
Okay.
Hopefully, she don't puncture another implant like she did that one match a while back. But
I'm gonna go get a root beer.
anyway,
Well, I mean, she's not wrong. Every time she leaves and comes back, they're bigger.
there's always, like she said, her face, nose, whatever.
Right.
It's like. Look, I thought she was more attractive, early on before she did any of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But she took criticism, which I think, is probably, like you get told you look like a man or something like that. It probably plays with your head.
I mean, that's why China did it.
China, I mean, this is a little different situation, but Michael Jackson always changed his appearance. So, I mean, people have done it lots of times, but I don't know. Sometimes I think that, like, Natalia's had a bunch of like Botox. There was one week I know when she just got whatever happened, like she came and her like lips were like, oh my! I was like, what did you do?
Well, here's the thing.
Anyway,
there are certain times when you get certain things done and it doesn't look bad. You look like a normal human being, but then you overdo it.
It's like an addiction. And there's like, I can't even remember her name, but supermodel, fashion designer. This woman looks scarier than any horror movie.
You can only cut for so long before you have nothing else to cut.
Yeah. There's only so many things you can correct. At some point you gotta understand we're human beings. We're flawed.
Yeah.
We have our things that don't look perfect.
You attractive.
Andrade clearly finds her attractive. Yeah. So there's that. And going back to our previous conversation about the way on NXT, Mike said, who can forget the wedding of Index? Brandon, and Mike actually got on the channel one night, and we reviewed that NXT episode. A great review if you want to go check it out. We were dying at the wedding of Andy Hartwell and Dexter Loomis. Hilarious. So hilarious stuff.
Dexter Loomis was my favorite part of that whole shit.
Yeah.
So good.
It's hilarious stuff. It also said, Mike said, fun fact, the number 3 spot has won the Women's Royal Rumble twice. That's interesting. I know in the Men's Royal Rumble, I think, number 27 has won the most from that spot.
We were trying to figure that out the other day at work, too.
Actually, I believe more people have won it from the number 1 position than they have from the number 30, which is interesting because it's supposed to be a disadvantage.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least that's the way it was in the past. I know a lot of things have changed over the last few years, but I don't know. I think I think somebody won the Women's Royal Rumble from number 1 once, if I'm not mistaken.
Maybe.
I'd have to go back, but the Women's Royal Rumble is a little more fresh. But I'm sure Mike could probably.
Was it Bianca or Bianca was in there for a long fucking time?
Oh yeah, she's definitely one of the Iron Men of the match, or Iron Women, I should say in this case. But yeah, so
who's been announced as number 1?
I don't think any positions have been announced just yet.
Okay,
as far as I know. I
thought they would normally, like, remember back in the day, didn't they used to like bring up the little Tumblr thing?
Which I'm kind of glad they quit doing that to some degree.
Yeah, but still, like, I feel like for the first entrance.
Okay, Rhea Ripley.
Rhea won it number.
Well, and that's well deserved too. Rhea Ripley deserves that accolade for sure. At least
for the first entrant, you know what I mean? The number 1 and number 2, and then
which is basically the same thing. Yeah, it's like 1 and 2. They're basically starting at the same. It's fine.
Yeah, so like they should at least do that for that. I used to think that was fun when they did it.
Okay, yeah, right.
Bianca and Bailey won at 3. Okay,
yeah, so that makes sense. I remember when the match.
Bianca was in there for a long fucking time.
And the reason I was focusing so much on this, and obviously I'm going to this show, I have to retell this story. The reason I am a fan of pro wrestling at all is because of the 1992 Royal Rumble. And at number 3, Ric Flair was the first one to go the distance. The first person who drew numbers 1 through 5 that won the Royal Rumble. That match made me a fan of the business. So that's part of the reason why this is so special and important to me. It got me into pro wrestling over the last 30 plus years. So that's a big reason, part of it for sure. All right, let's move on to the next match. Let's keep it rolling a little bit here. There's obviously 2 more left. Let's hit it with the undisputed WWE Championship ladder match. Cody Rhodes versus Kevin Owens with the Winged Eagle belt and the current WWE Championship both suspended high above the ring of Lucas Oil Stadium. This could be cringe-inducing because I'm going to be on the edge of my seat with these ladder spots. And like I said, if Kevin Owens does that package pile driver ladder spot that he's been known to do in the past, I'm going to cringe and
they're going to do it.
I would assume
I
so.
will not be watching this match.
I was about to say, Miranda already told me she's not watching this match. So hypothetically, babe, if we were going.
Yeah, what would you do?
Going to do?
Close your eyes. Look at your phone.
I'd be like, nope.
I can ignore stuff pretty well.
She'd be like, "Oh, look, that's a pretty rafter." Anyway,
it'd be a great time to go to the bathroom. Everybody else will be.
I'll be like, "Hey, honey, can you go get me some nachos? I need a refill." Yeah,
this is gonna suck. Like this match is honestly going to suck.
Oh,
Kevin Owens is a different performer on big pay-per-views than he is on on Friday nights. And I'm telling you now, he's no slouch on Friday nights.
No.
So when he has somebody he can work with, and let's not pretend we don't know the links fucking Cody Rhodes.
Oh, if you've watched any of his matches in AEW with ladders and cages, you know he will put his body on the line.
The man literally wrestled a whole match with a torn pectoral that was
bruised. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, that was disgusting.
And still got hit in it during that match. So if you don't think they're going to climb to the top of that fucking ladder, and Kevin Owens isn't going to package power drive him onto another ladder that's wedged between the ropes and that ladder, you are sadly fucking
I'm about
mistaken.
to mute you.
That's happening.
I don't want to hear about it.
Like, that is happening.
Oh, yeah. I would assume it would be. I just kind of hope it doesn't do the whole slow climb thing. I know Miranda kind of has a pet peeve with that, which I don't disagree with her.
She fucking hates ladder matches.
Yeah. As fast as this match is going to go, if they slowly climb that fucking ladder, I'm letting those their asses up on X.
She goes, "You mean to tell me you can run, dive, jump all over the place, but then you go to climb a fucking ladder and it's a wrap for you?"
And I'll say this too. Kudos to Triple H, by the way. Kevin Owens has finally been pushed in the spot where he deserves to be all along. For the longest time under Vince McMahon, Kevin Owens was kind of the mid-card, middle of the pack kind of a guy they didn't see as a main eventer. Kevin Owens is absolutely a main event caliber talent, and he should have been pushed that way for years. So I'm glad he's finally been given something to sink his teeth into. The stuff that's been cracking me up as of late, which his t-shirt game has always been on point.
Yes.
But he came out like last week wearing a Naomi t-shirt when he wrestled Jimmy Uso, which is Jimmy's wife in real life. This last week he came out with a shirt that said Cody sucks eggs. I thought it was hilarious. So I'm sure he's going to have something for the Rumble too, but I don't know if I'll be able to see it very well because we'll be in the crowd. But either way.
Kevin Owens has been. It was like when he showed up in NXT, and Sammy was the champion at the time. Yeah, and he demolished Sami Zayn, and then they went on to have banger matches.
Oh yeah,
because they were doing this already in the Indies before they got there, so they knew each other. They know how to work each other. They know. Boom. If you've never seen a match between Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, whether it be on NXT or on the Indies, watch one. They work so seamless together. It's crazy.
Oh, yeah. Especially in NXT Black and Gold. I love some of their feuds there.
I like Kevin Owens for a different reason.
Why is that?
I always root for Kevin Owens because of a friend of mine, and I know he was a friend of all of yours, was a big-time Kevin Owens fan and always rooted for Kevin Owens whenever he wrestled. And you know who I'm talking about.
Okay. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah. But anyway, but yeah, you're not wrong. Absolutely.
We used to talk about wrestling a lot.
She liked Kevin Owens a lot.
Okay.
That's why I always like Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
KO fan.
Now, when it comes to predictions of who I think is going to win this match, obviously I think Cody Rhodes is retaining.
I don't know, man.
I mean, I wouldn't be upset about it, but it would definitely be interesting to going into the Rumble if Kevin were to pull it off and be like, okay, well, who are they going to get wrestle Kevin now? It could be Sammy. It could be a lot of, but I just feel like Cody Rhodes is going to hold the title until WrestleMania at least.
Yeah.
But
I want to say something because I said something last week when we were talking about Cody, and I said Cody's good when he's chasing the title, even though he's the champion.
Yeah, it's crazy, and he's still chasing the title
because Kevin Owens you know what I'm saying? He's giving him this weight. And that promo between him and Punk Monday.
Oh, great promo.
It was like you could see all of that weight sitting on his shoulders, and he's sitting.
Well, that was the
here,
great part
like,
about it. Yeah, he was like, because CM Punk was
defeated.
like, you're the weight of the championship is weighing on. And Cody, let's be honest, has been hitting it hard almost every show for the past, I don't know how many months. And you could see the exacerbated look on his face. So it made a lot of narrative sense for Punk to be like, the good news is going to be somebody's going to take that burden away from you, but the bad news is it's going to be me.
Yeah.
So
it was a great promo, but
that really made me think Punk's winning the Rumble and Cody's winning this, and they're going to wrestle. Now, again, who knows? Maybe that's just to kind of throw you off the scent. That's a very good point, because there's obviously been rumors of Punk and Roman as well. So there's and Cena and Cody. There's a lot of ways this could go, which what makes it more intriguing to me. And sometimes WWE a lot of times they in the past used to telegraph who's going to win these things, and they still may be to some respects. But I like the unpredictability nature of it, of where it could possibly go multiple different directions. So I think that's going to be a good plus for this as well. But yeah, that was a great promo on that show, and I was sitting there thinking, I actually thought earlier on in Raw when Jey Uso cut his promo talking about I can beat Gunther, I thought for a second maybe they're going to give it to Jey Uso, and Jey Uso would win the Royal Rumble match, which again I wouldn't be upset about at all.
But that is the beauty of storytelling and booking, right?
Yeah.
Everybody that we've talked about who's going, with the exception of Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes, but all these guys that are in the Rumble itself, there's an argument to be made for every last one of them to get a shot.
Yeah.
And it's so fun. What also is very funny is they all have a separate story, but they all have the same story leading to one fucking person, and he's standing right there.
Yep. That's Cody.
You know what I mean? Like, it is
or Gunther, I guess. I mean, but yeah.
Yes, but you think about Steph, Drew.
Yeah, that's
Jay, even CM Punk.
Yeah.
They all have one Sami Zayn. Like, they all have one. It's him.
Well, that not just the championship, but the dynamic of the storytelling in the match itself. Seth and Sammy are coming face to face at some point in this thing, because they've been having issues as it is. I mean, there's many other little storytelling aspects that are going to be thrown in just like that, like Roman and Seth. That's happening too at some point. Whether there's one-on-one, they're obviously going to have some sort of interaction here by the end of the show. What happens when Jay or Jimmy Uso go face to face with Roman? It's every man for himself. Things like that. Cena, in all these different cases, everybody's going to be gunning for Cena. I mean, the dynamic makes this the most exciting match of the year in a lot of ways.
We all realize that, like, how the guy that everybody hated, well, all the guys used to hate and all the women loved, turned out to be the biggest fucking focal point in wrestling.
I tried to get you to kidnap him.
Yeah, Miranda's like, why don't you just take, a little bit of chloroform and, put Roman Reigns in your truck, bring him home. Me and my buddy Nate, who went to the show, we got probably within, 30 feet of Roman. We looked at his arms, go, you go. No, you go. No.
But again, a guy, we were like, we're tired of seeing this fucking guy on our TV screen. We're tired of he went from that guy to literally being one of the most dynamic heavyweight champions in wrestling.
And all it took was for Vince McMahon to finally say, turn him heel. That's all it took. And now because of that, he's one of the biggest baby faces, which is what Vince always wanted. But for the longest time, Vince tried to push him as a baby face, and fans rejected it. So they tried something different, it worked, and now look where he's at.
He's the biggest babyface who's still a fucking heel, and nobody knows it.
Imagine, yeah, exactly.
Nobody knows it.
Makes perfect
yeah,
sense.
that's a good point.
Knows it.
Do what they don't want you to do.
Your biggest faces of your company right now, they all know the truth, but they're all being treated like fucking heels.
Yeah. I mean, imagine,
do you know the ability that takes to take one guy who is universally hated throughout two separate brands and one overarching story is the biggest babyface of your company?
Yeah.
And then all of the people who are those big faces of your company are now heels because of him.
Yeah. I mean,
and all of them are right.
Yeah, the old saying is there levels to this shit. I mean, clearly this is a whole nother. I mean, look, I love
You
AEW,
have to
but
put it that
this,
way, sure.
and I was thinking about this at work the other day too. Just thinking about what it's going to be like up there at Lucas Oil Stadium, because I've never been. Oh, I've been to one really big WrestleMania or WrestleMania size event, and that was WrestleMania 892 in the Hoosier Dome.
Mm-hmm.
But that was 33 years ago at this point. So it's hard for me to really remember what that was like. And of course, the wrestling business has changed since then. Mm-hmm. So in my head, I'm thinking about how AEW going, look, I love AEW, and I'm sure All In's a big show, but WWE puts on shows like no other. Mm-hmm. And I hate to admit that, and AEW needs to step up their game in that regard. But I'm excited to see how this is going to look and feel. From just an aspect of it, But yeah, by the way,
hey, you got a hell of a show. You got a hell of a Rumble to go to, buddy.
Yeah, and hopefully,
it gives me anxiety to even think about it.
Oh, I know. I mean, but it's gonna be fun, no doubt about it. I'll be exhausted come Sunday morning, I promise you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, going back to like Roman Reigns too. Going to heel. Imagine as big as John Cena ended up being. Imagine if John Cena ended up turning heel, like everybody wanted him to do, and Vince refused. Well, Vince had probably Cena both, I think, refused to do it. Maybe I know Vince for sure.
Take Cena seriously.
He's definitely a goofy kind of to a degree.
Has he always been like that for you, babe? Like when you first saw Cena, did you get rapping Cena, or was it
hustle loyalty rapping Cena?
Yeah.
I've hated John Cena ever since.
And that was him as a heel. Technically,
that was him as a heel, but he was a clever heel, though.
Yeah,
John Cena was a very clever heel, and yes, the rapping was crazy work.
Yeah,
Boston Red Sox jersey killed me.
But
he wore jerseys for every town he was in. He's kind of like you, the bandwagon fan when he came to town.
Yeah, but you don't. I think John's personality is too funny for him to be a true heel.
Mm-hmm. I feel like he's going to tell you what you want to hear or what he thinks you want to hear, and then just lie to you. I don't know.
His heel, it wouldn't work necessarily.
No, you might be right about that. But
like Roman's heel version in the beginning was very aggressive, but then it became more mental, and then he had his own minions.
Yeah, that's true.
But then,
which made him more hated because he couldn't win a match on his own. That was the whole thing.
But yet he was ruthless as shit in those matches.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, and that was part of the entertainment value of it.
God.
Yeah. Mike's got some comments. He said number 1 and number 2 have won the Men's Royal Rumble a combined 5 times. The number 30 is actually tied with 5 times as well. So it must have changed over the last few years. I remember that used to be a stat that number 1 won the spot more often. He said that Cody will be flying up the ladder like an eagle and grab the belts to win.
You're never seeing that belt again, by the way.
Which one?
The eagle belt.
You think so? Because I'll tell you right now, if Cody Rhodes wins the both belts and he lays the current new version down on the mat and walks out with the winged eagle belt, I'm going to mark out like a mofo because that's the belt. Because that's the belt that his dad never got to hold, and if they make that the current and reigning championship belt moving forward, take my money even more than you already took it.
That belt's going back in the archive, buddy.
It might be, but I would hate that.
Unless they do a new winged eagle, like give him.
I'm fine with that too.
To hold it in and then come out with the new winged eagle belt.
Perfectly fine with that. Because I just think that current, even though I own one right above my head here, I think the current version of that belt it looks too much like a toy. It doesn't look like a champion. I mean, to a degree. Don't get me wrong. It's not bad. I've seen worse belts, but I would rather have something like the updated winged eagle that Austin had for a while.
Here's the thing.
That was the big blue belt.
I think if you get the winged eagle belt, the only way you get the winged eagle belt if Kevin Owens wins, because it's another dig at Cody.
Well, but like I said,
he'll have it. And then Cody will get a title match a different way, maybe Elimination Chamber or Money in the Bank. Wait, did Money in the Bank already happen?
No, but that's not till July.
Oh.
So that's a ways off.
He'll get a shot. Yeah. He'll get a shot for that title at WrestleMania somehow. And he'll get to hold the winged eagle then. But
it may be. But like I said, it's already built into where he could just say, well, this is the belt my dad wanted, so I can have it. Or I can keep it instead. I mean,
I get that point too, but like, I think Kevin Owens wins, and then he chases that title.
Possibly. Mike said he was at WrestleMania 25 in Houston, Texas Stadium. Yeah, great one to be at, by the way, with Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker. Potentially one of the best matches in WrestleMania history.
I remember that one.
Can't deny that. So yeah, So hopefully our tickets will live up to your expectations. I don't know where you were for WrestleMania 25, but I think it was a little higher up than maybe where we are for the Rumble. So hopefully we'll have a good one. But anyway, back to this though. Who wins the Royal Rumble match and goes to WrestleMania?
I don't know. Who do you think comes out at 30?
Oh, 30. I can't think of any big surprises or not.
I don't think it'll be a big surprise. I just know who I think it
Roman, maybe. I can see it being Roman.
I think it'll be Roman.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, maybe Cena, probably one of these two guys, but
Cena's out. No. I think
Cena's out earlier.
Yep.
Yeah, that's possibly.
I think
especially if he's not winning it. I mean, if I'm going to take my prediction, even though I think it's cookie cutter and a little too telegraphed. I think the winner's CM Punk. And he maybe faces Cody. I could be wrong on that, but like I said, I just got that feeling from Monday that was the direction, or maybe they'll pivot and that will be the direction after that. I don't know.
But I don't think Punk needs to win the Rumble to get it.
In a way, I kind of hope it's not. Yeah. So I'd be fine with a lot of guys here. There's a lot of options. Yeah. I don't think it's Seth and Sammy. I think they have their own issues with one another. So Drew. But yeah. Drew is. I don't think so either. Him and Roman is another match that they've teased as well. So that could be something. So I don't think it's Roman either. But I mean, Cena, you could do it because he can maybe go his final run against Gunther, slay the beast of the guy who could, doesn't lose over there on Raw potentially. I don't know. Or it could be Cena Cody. I mean, there's a lot of ways you could do with that too.
I think it's better to have Cena go for it, but never get the opportunity to get a title shot until Cody gives him one. Yeah.
Oh, that's very possible too. And Jey Uso with Gunther. There's a lot of different ways it could go. Mike says his prediction is he thinks Punk is winning, but could seriously be anyone. Lots of options. Yes, I agree. So
that's what I'm saying. This is the one thing about this whole story that any guy in that match you could see coming down. Well, any big names, of current guys you could see winning this.
Oh yeah,
have a story leaving it that's believable
and ready to go. The only reason I also think Punk too is not just the promo on Monday Night Raw, but he's also been on record many years talking about how he never got his main event WrestleMania match, and that would be it. You would put him on the final match on the show, probably against Cody or whatever, and that would be his main event. But we'll see if that ends up being the case as we move forward past the Royal Rumble. Thank you for checking out this clip of the Dragon's Den podcast. If you like what you saw here, please consider checking out our live podcast almost every single Friday night here on the channel at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. And until our next video, guys, take care and God bless.